What's happening, everybody? Small politics again, and I know a lot of people are feeling one way or another, depending on who they voted for. Like I said before, it really doesn't matter who you voted for. I'm not gonna hate you or be against you. There are people or outliers who are scary on both sides, but for the most part, we've had an election which was peaceful, even though certain parties wanted to agitate and have a violent sort of situation. Joe Biden brings a certain calm and stability to the situation. I'll call him President elect Joe Biden, as the results are now pretty much going to be certified for Georgia. The recounts were done and the audits, and Georgia is going to be going to Biden. And that's the only state Biden needed to win. He just needed one state to win, actually, to get the majority vote, get past 270 votes. So that's already done. So it's done. Joe Biden's going to be the president of the United States. But here's the thing. No matter what you're seeing in the news media outlets, it's about being calm on both sides, whether you're a Trump supporter or you're a Biden supporter. Remember the race between Donald Trump and Joe Biden as for president. But remember, other than that, there's also senatorial races, congressional races, district associated races. They're different levels. Congressionally, I think it's settled already. I think statewide, I think there's going to be a runoff for two state Senate positions come January. But the point is representation. Who do you want to represent you? And you can see the stark difference between how Donald Trump conducts his affairs in the country, how Joe Biden conducts his affairs in the country. You can literally see it. And he brings a certain small town stability, levelness, calm to everyone. And that's important as a leader. So I'm looking at Joe Biden's handling the situation. You can handle it better. I think he's handling it the right way. I think he's looking at what is the major issue at hand, and he's trying to deal with those issues, hit the ground running. And I do believe he's going to represent every single American, whether you are a Trump supporter or not. And I empathize with the Trump supporters at this time. I feel for you guys, man. I feel for you guys because I understand where you're coming from. You wanted change. You wanted something different. Yes, there was the extreme racist people in there, and there was the extreme, fascist people in there. But when you dial it back, they're fascists in any establishment. They may not be spoken about, so therefore they don't get that press and they don't get that coverage, but they're fascists in almost every establishment. If they're always extremists somewhere. But I think the average Joe, the average Trump supporter, is a decent human being who just wanted all the rubbish of Washington to end, And even Barack Obama, I remember, was lamenting the fact that, not a lot was being done in Washington, D.C. because people were playing political games with the country's life, with people on the ground. At the federal level, people are playing games. And there was games played even in the Trump regime on both sides. Excuse me. And you can't have that. You can't have that. People trying to score brownie points. Even now, at this juncture, we have, and this has happened before with Democrats as well, so don't get it twisted. But we have Republicans playing games. But Joe Biden understands. And what I like about him is he's not getting into the minutia. He's not getting into the in a battle with something that is not necessary, not relevant, and not pertinent to the situation. I really appreciate that he also respects the due process that's happening with the democracy. I think that all of those things are good things. Where I believe that where I believe the situation becomes a little bit complicated is that since all of the signs and so on point towards Joe Biden winning the election, I do believe that the regime, the Trumpian regime, should at least allow him access to information. If he doesn't win, or if something dramatic happens and he doesn't get, then the access will not be relevant to him, and he can just move along, which is highly unlikely that would happen. It looks like he's the successor to Donald Trump. So they should be providing him the information. And I even heard Senator Graham saying that he should be allowed access to the information, you know. If I were to give Donald Trump some advice, this is what I would tell him. You're challenging the elections. You're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You decided you're a winner. You like winning, and you're challenging the elections. Nothing's wrong with that. I agree with the Republican senators on that. The one thing, though, that Donald Trump needs to understand is a sense of when to pack it up and start on another day. And after exhausting almost every avenue, and the results come out the same way as they were, it is up to him for one time in his life to decide not to be theatrical and not to play gigs, not to play the game, not to play the gigs, and acknowledge that the system was tested. Acknowledge that there may or may not be misunderstandings on his part. If I would have see how I save face in the situation, because I see he's looking for a way to tell himself that he needs to save face, as well as a way to win. And there is a way to win. A win-win situation for him and everyone. And that win-win situation is to adopt the posture of misunderstanding. Whether he wants to go with there's a misunderstanding on their part or misunderstanding on his part. Because he does not want to apologize. The reason is that is seen as a sign of weakness. Anybody's from New York knows this. You try to stand your ground, be strong, right? So he's trying to stand his ground, double down, but he's got nothing to stand on. So what you do is you shift. You do what is called a shift. And this is his way out. He has to shift his position in that he has a slight misunderstanding about what's going on. So he can go, he can say he has a misunderstanding, or it wasn't conveyed clearly, so that there was a misunderstanding. That gives him a position where he can shift from what he was saying and still win. That's the way to do it. And then pledge to come back stronger and better. For the people who believe him verbatim and follow him like the Lord Jesus Christ, those poor people, I feel for them because I know those people earnestly believe that he could carve that way for them, even if misguided to some degree, and also even if some of them have really really horrible agendas. The underlying driving force for that is survival. It's about them and their families being in a better position. We must see the humanity in the inhumanity that some people are proposing. Their only problem is they're thinking myopically, because a lot of these people have been ignored by society or put down by society. And so they're saying this is our time now. And just like how you didn't give a damn about us, we don't give a damn about you. I get it. I get it. I get the certain Trump supporters, the poorer people, the people who have been disenfranchised. I get you. I even understand some of the white supremacists who are pushing for certain things and talking about getting rid of black people and Indian people and so on. I get it. I get it. From all the way back to early pilgrims, I get it. I know Thanksgiving's coming around the corner. That's why I can talk about this. I get you. You want to survive. You want to exist. You want to be acknowledged. You want your issues addressed. This is what's driving everything. You're saying I'm important too. Y'all paying attention to all these black people and these minorities with these initiatives, all these immigrants, but I'm important too. We get it. We get it. I get it. That's what they're fighting tooth and nail for. If they were to meet somebody on the roadside, they would have a conversation. There, it just like guys in very, very deprived areas and projects. The people in the projects, when it's their time, it's their time. They don't care about nobody else. When you've been isolated from and vilified, obviously you will want your get back. And you want to show if the tables are turned, how you feel now. Everybody goes through it. What I want to say to these individuals is, a lot more people than you think are hearing you loud and clear. A lot of people realize you have been alienated. A lot of people think, they talk about the hillbillies and the hee-haws, and listen, man, country people are dope as hell. Some of them are racist, but once you get to know them, and once they get to know you, you's family. You is family. The problem is we don't get to know one another. And we do not acknowledge each other's existence, and we want to put down other people. They're right. Even I am guilty of being sometimes elitist. Sometimes I'm guilty of it because we feel we know everything, the pride thing. But the truth be told, we are the same. Me, a black supremacist and a white supremacist, we're the same. We want the same things. All the hate speech and the anti-lesbianism and homosexual. We always feel we're better than somebody because somebody's homosexual or somebody's lesbian. I'm not better than you. You and me the same. Whether I believe that you're doing the right thing or the wrong thing, we're the same. All of us have fallen short. If you believe you're a Christian, all of us are sinners in need of repentance. All of us mess up. Right? So at the end of the day, I can't really judge you just like I wouldn't just straight up judge Donald Trump. What I try to do, which is very difficult to do, but I try, is to put myself in his position.
What if I had a mental disorder, but I made it to become the president of the United States of America? And everybody doesn't understand me, or I think they don't, because I'm really trying to do something nice, but I got deficiencies and I got flaws. That's what the people who voted for Donald Trump voted for him, because they knew he had flaws. He wasn't like the other politicians. What they missed was how dangerous he could be. You know, but Donald Trump is trying to do a good thing. He really is. He was really trying to do a good thing. He just just the way just the way just the way he goes about doing it. Oh my God. You know, he tried. He tried. Wasn't really the guy for the job, but he tried. And I want him to know, I'm going to acknowledge that he tried. Hey, we can't always get it right. We can't always be the best. And maybe you came up with a family where your parents was beating the shit out of you when you failed. And you can't fail and so on. But God damn it, you didn't fail. You did something that he defied the odds. He's got a lot of flaws, and he made it to become the president of the United States of America. And that's encouraging to a lot of people. You don't have to, however, adopt his value system, but it sure is very encouraging that somebody who had all those deficiencies and all that baggage made it to the president of the United States. That tells me somebody with autism could become a president of the United States. Somebody who has dyslexia can be a president of the United States, which I think Donald Trump has. Somebody who has bipolar disorder could become the president of the United States. People with mental disorders, be encouraged. You can make it to become the president of the United States. People who are crippled or have deficiencies, what we call it, challenges, you can become president of the United States. That's what Donald Trump did for us. That's what Donald Trump did for the world. Yes, he was, he wanted the best guy for the job. Let's put it that way. But God allowed him to become president of the United States. And now his time is up. And God have mercy on his soul when he's not president. I hope he does well. I try my best not to speak negatively about this man, in spite of all the carnage that was happening. But Joe Biden come from the same, well, not the same background as Donald Trump. He come from a wealthy family, but Joe Biden he's a country boy too. Is there anybody who could relate? Well, he's a suburban guy, but he's a country boy, Delaware. Is there anybody with country values, loyalty, stand up, honesty, straight talking? That's Joe Biden. And he has that level of stability and calm the country needs at this time, so that people can actually meet one another and transact with one another and actually talk with one another. What's going to get people over the hill is not vilifying people. Joe Biden got it right. It's not about going out there and trying to prosecute this guy and prosecute that guy and attack. This is not the time for that right now. Every single American needs to band together side by side. It's going to be hard because some of the Americans feel alienated, and they feel like they're going back to being alienated, that y'all going to vilify them, you're going to hate on them. They saw their salvation in Donald Trump, that they would have a voice, they would be appreciated, and they roll with him. Who's going to ride with them? Who in government is going to help them? Who in government is going to represent them and what they have, and not see their values as wacky and crazy and out there like the media is doing? Stop vilifying these people. Joe Biden understands that. He understands this is not a time to attack the voters. And yes, from the senators, congressmen to the Republicans, certain Republican people, they're right now speaking a certain tune. But I want to say something. In order for a country to come together, as Nelson Mandela did, and he brought stability to South Africa after a nasty, evil apartheid, but he allowed all the people to come back together and unite South Africa as one. That only happened because Nelson Mandela realized the bigger picture, that people have to work together. I represent a movie that we all work together for as Snyder Cut fans. And the only reason we got the movie was how positive the movement was. Instead of fighting with other people over the reason that Snyder Cut needed to come, we started raising money for charities, for American suicide prevention. It's very important at this time. Because a lot of Americans right now, they can't see their way. They don't know what they're going to be doing. The average Joe on the ground, the poor people. You see those people supporting Donald Trump? A lot of them also got some difficulty. And they were looking for a way out. The situation with COVID has hurt a lot of people financially. So these are the real issues that have nothing to do with Donald Trump or Joe Biden. Nothing. You're living in existence day to day, and the difficulties of life day to day have nothing to do with them guys. And you know this. You don't have Joe Biden and you don't have Donald Trump to come to your door. You have your neighbor. You have your relatives. You have family. You have people from out of your state who will help you. Americans need to bind together to help Americans. You guys got to stop the divide. You got to stop vilifying each other. You guys got to work together. Us United, the Snyder Cut of Justice League is about that. I hope you guys can see it on HBO Max. HBO is a Warner Time company. Warner Brothers is excellent in terms of how balanced they are. I was looking for media that was balanced out there. There's a certain media outlet called The Hill, with these two younger people, and they come from all walks of life. They're Republicans, Democrats, whatever, and they talk and they try to give as honest an assessment of the situation as they can. And you got to understand, while America will need a stimulus to jumpstart it, you guys are resilient. You guys gonna make it. Once you can get your businesses open and get them running like they're supposed to be without any interference of a disease, you're gonna be all right. I support Donald Trump on the no mask, or should I say, not mandating masks. But that doesn't mean that mask is not an option. But here's the real deal. And Bill Maher, he talked about this. If you really want to be protected against COVID and you have members of your family who are at risk, please, by all means, boost your immune system. And it starts with simple things like lemon and water. Lemon and warm water early in the morning. Get a multivitamin tablet. Okay? Have a little garlic and a little bit of ginger on hand. Any of you guys had to have breathing problems, don't forget you can use the steam. It's like a nebulizer. And you can put your ginger, you can put your lemon, put your salt into the water with a lozenge. If you're going to use it in your mouth, a spoonful of olive oil with it. Virgin olive oil. Just like how it takes care of the cold, it'll take care of COVID. Guaranteed. But in the meantime, I want you guys to understand that you must take care of your health. A lot of Americans don't live healthy lifestyles. And you guys need to brush up on that. Because if I don't live a healthy lifestyle, I'm going to die. Just like everybody else. So get your immunity up. Use a lot of vitamin C. If you can get a proper multivitamin, use it. Vitamin C keeps you from getting common colds, and it will also help and assist you in preventing you from being overcome by COVID. Simple things. Simple things. Tariq H just got in. Who did you vote for? I didn't vote for nobody. I'm not an American. I'm from Trinidad and Tobago. I live in the Caribbean. I'm just an observer, but I'm talking to these people. You know what I mean? I'm just talking to these people. You know what I mean? A lot of things can happen, good things. And if America prospers, everybody prospers in the world. Americans kind of set the tone for what is. And democracy, yes, it's being challenged, but that's a good thing. Yes, it's being tested, and that's a good thing. Okay? For the people, because it's rampant, the COVID is rampant in the United States of America to a good degree. People are not paying attention to how serious it is. But for the people who are there, you need to just boost your immune system. Use a multivitamin. Use a lemon or lime with water, or lemon, lime. If you're not using it with water, you can drink it in your water. Don't drink too much of it, but you can use a teaspoon of lemon or lime with a little bit of olive oil in there. That's your lozenge, and you use it. You take it down. If I use right now, for me, it also helps my throat and therefore my lungs. I just don't have any olive oil. I don't even have no lemon right now. But see, you guys have a lot to offer. America has a lot to offer to the world. And you guys can live together. The beautiful thing about Trump, he exposed a lot of he was the raw guy that allowed certain things in America to come to the surface that were hidden for so long. Some of it was ugly, but some of it was beautiful as well. And I've seen in natural disasters and crisis, Americans come together and help one another. Well, this is a crisis right now. You guys help one another and come together. This COVID thing is bigger. Who cares who wins the election? COVID's the issue. You get what I'm saying? You guys got to prioritize. You got to get serious about stuff. What's affecting you on a daily basis? What's affecting you on a day-to-day basis? That's what you got to focus on. If you're not working on a day-to-day basis, or you're having problems getting to your job, then that's what you focus on. You know, the election is going to run its course. There are people monitoring the situation. There is no need to be an alarmist. Let it run its course. Like I said, Donald Trump is challenging everything. Let him challenge everything. That's his job. Let him do it. He doesn't want to go silently into the night. But what I would tell him is, Donald Trump, you want to save face? All you got to say is, oh, certain things wasn't explicitly painted out to me. There was a little misunderstanding. And you get out of there. You get yourself out of the situation. That's it. It's real simple. That way you save face. That way you leave on your terms. Because he's trying to find an exit strategy. How do I work my way out of this situation and still be a winner? Well, that's it. That's what you got to do. You know, a lot of people always believe that people are good or bad. I always try to explain to people that any one individual is not all bad or not all good, no matter what perception their public persona gives you. Yes, people can do some really evil things, But ultimately, even a villain or villainous person has good intentions somewhere. So why I tap into that is because I'm coming from a Christian perspective. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. It wasn't the tree of evil. It was the tree of knowledge of good and evil. There's always good and there's always evil. You know what I'm saying? And so I try to explain to people Joe Biden is doing the right thing. His job is not to go throwing lawsuits around. His job is not to go tit for tat with Donald Trump. The election's already done. People voted already. It's done. No matter what. They can do recounts or whatever, but it's done. Now it's just about the results. What were the results? But it's done. It's a thing of the past. So no matter what Donald Trump decides to do, even if he's trying to, as we say, rig the election and try to manipulate electors and stuff like that. Listen, that's almost a minor issue. Not because what he's doing shouldn't be observed. People who are supposed to be observing that, they are observing. And I would say that's very important that whatever Republican people do when they meet Donald Trump, that they bear in mind everything has consequences. Americans do not forget, and they will not let you off the hook. So if you're trying to do a coup d'etat and you're trying to manipulate the electors, to put your own electors or to put Donald Trump's electors, here's the thing that's going to happen. When Joe Biden gets into power, which more than likely he will, it will be noted. And there will be some lawsuit cases coming out. And when they do go to the courts, whoever they are, that start to implement this, or whether Congress implements this, a lot of people are going to have to answer. So it's better if you keep your standards and morals and let it be implicated on Donald Trump and the consequences, because he's building up a file. And see, the thing about it is, everything that happens in the White House isn't exactly classified and secret. You understand? There are people who are in those rooms, and there's surveillance tapes and information streaming constantly to the necessary intelligence agencies of what's going on in the room. So there's a lot of data on Donald Trump, and this is what he needs to understand. Everything has a consequence in this life. That's why I don't really speak much about this. However, having said that, he needs to understand too that certain people who are going to be in power are willing to sort of forgive him and forget him. So he doesn't have unnecessary problems from the succeeding regime that may come after him. Just as how Barack Obama did not investigate Bush. Forgot what his first name is. He didn't investigate him. Similarly, I don't think Joe Biden is going to investigate Donald Trump. Now, some independent agencies may do that, which Joe Biden would not. He's not going to involve himself with that. But as to Joe Biden and his regime, I don't think they're going to investigate it. And a lot of people are clamoring for that, but that is so irrelevant right now. If the coronavirus sweeps through the United States of America and licks up almost everybody and sinks the economy, what's the use investigating Donald Trump at that point in time? It's just doesn't make sense. Now, if the courts in New York or in other places want to investigate him, that's totally different. Or they want to press charges again. That's totally different. That's on a different level of governance to start with. And in addition, Joe Biden will have nothing to do with that. Those are ongoing issues. So that's up to New York. But with respect to Joe Biden, he should press on with the business at hand. He's got his hands full, and they still got another elections and so on. So if he does become president elect, that's what he has to focus on. So that Donald Trump actually will have less of. He doesn't have to worry about Joe Biden coming down on him and all of that stuff. Joe Biden is not interested in all of that. Why this is important and why I'm focusing on Joe Biden and not on Donald Trump is because Joe Biden's going to set the tone that will allow all Americans to understand why democracy is such a good thing. And it's very important that people understand that somebody, especially Joe Biden, that he's honest. He needs to be honest, faithful, and he also needs to get some things done. He does that, and people will get back confidence in the democratic process and in the electoral process. I'm pretty sure the majority of Americans trust the electoral process, in fact, in spite of the ramblings of Donald Trump. I'm pretty sure the majority of Americans, even those who voted for Donald Trump, are willing to concede that Joe Biden is the president-elect. I think most of them do. There are some of them who are borderline, who are cautious about the situation, even though they acknowledge Joe Biden as the president-elect. They're looking to see if there is any cases whatsoever of, manipulation of voter totals and stuff like that. So far, I have not seen any cases that stick to that criteria. The last set of cases that we saw where in Georgia, 1,300 votes were not counted for Donald Trump. That was in a Republican area, actually, where he won, a Republican state where he won, that they had forgotten to count a certain amount of votes because I believe something to do with a card or something that they did, the key for the card or something that they forgot. But it was a Republican state where he won anyway, and it's just interesting that he's trying to say for some reason that the Democrats are the ones that are twisting this thing around, but the state is a Republican state. And the discrepancy happened in a Republican county, I believe. So what, are you saying that those Republicans didn't want to get those extra votes? I don't understand. But anyway, that's irrelevant. I don't want to go into the nitty-gritty details. What's happening in Michigan is interesting as well, where two people who certified a particular county wanted to rescind their certification, but they know, excuse me, my goodness, they know fully well they can't do that. So I'm not quite sure why they did that, but Donald Trump is in there sitting down with some of the Republican lawmakers right now. I guess seeking a course of action, a plan of action. To try and, I guess, figure out a way how they can get electors so that they can have the states stolen for Donald Trump, even though Joe Biden won that state by 100 and something thousand votes. Excuse me. It is what it is. You know what I mean? I keep on saying that it is what it is. And desperation is lapping in because certification is going to happen tomorrow in a number of those states. A number of those states are going to be certified by tomorrow. So desperation's kicking in. So what plan Donald Trump can have to alter the course of the elections? He's trying very hard to win it by any means necessary. Um, but like I said, he can save face and fight another day. That's a better maneuver, and just make sure he covers his tracks in terms of certain things he's done. You know, so he can reduce the amount of collateral damage he might have to face. That's what I'd suggest to him. So I've tried to be very reasonable and give you guys a reasonable approach. As you can see, democracy is standing pretty strong after being challenged. I believe that the democratic process so far is proceeding pretty good. I see people in Wisconsin, again, very, very thorough in Wisconsin. I was watching their PBS take on what Wisconsin is doing, and they're very, very thorough. They're extremely thorough, and they entertain all kinds of questions. They're very thorough in Wisconsin. And again, that's just to make sure and ensure that free and fair elections are happening, and the transparency of the elections is also a very important thing. So I find it a very positive thing that we get almost a forensic sort of autopsy on the electoral process, and the fact that people can explain the process continuously. So that's very good stuff. Very good stuff. And whatever happens, just understand that the democratic process is robust and strong. In spite of all the firings of people and all the arbitrary craziness that's been happening to president that the president has been doing to people in power for no reason at all. I mean, that stuff can be reversed, I'm sure, after the election. So after the inauguration of another of a succeeder. So it would be interesting to see how everything will play out. And what can I say? For certain states, certification is tomorrow. So come Saturday, the election results would have been certified by the different states. Okay? And that goes not just for presidential race, but for all the races. Right? So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Like I said before, the Republican Party did well in terms of congressional gains, and the senatorial arm of the Republican Party also did well. So they just need to keep on trucking. It's clear the country wanted the figurehead of Joe Biden. I think mainly what turned the whole thing around was the coronavirus and how it was handled. That's what turned the situation around, and I think that's why Joe Biden actually won. He won off the coronavirus. He didn't win off of Donald Trump mismanagement of stuff, and not necessarily that. The pandemic caused a lot of people to have concerns, and Joe Biden is very calm. And this pandemic just I pretty much think turned the elections around.
I think a lot of people have confidence that Joe Biden will handle the pandemic situation much better than Donald Trump did. So I think that's what got Biden in the office. After all is said and done. And that's just the way how that goes. I hear some people saying, the satanic this and the satan. Listen, if God allows, excuse me, if God allows it to happen, it's not satanic. It's the will of God, just like with Donald Trump. God allowed him to be president, but God allows Joe Biden to be president. So it's time. It's time we just allow it to run its course. It is what it is, people. It is what it is. And what you need, I just wanted to talk about that. Spent about 45, almost 46 minutes talking about it. If you guys want to talk about it, you can talk about it as well. At the end of the day, what you need. Been watching my channel. If you like this video, it's acid reflux. Strange as it sounds, I know I don't even feel the acid right now, but the irritation and just the fact that I can't breathe properly, there it goes again. You felt that? How I kind of went. It's sickening, but I'll get through it. I'm almost through it anyway. So I'll catch you guys later. I'm what you need. Peace.